Hello ladies, thanks for joining me today. My name is Mandy and this is my Mandy Yoga. Today we're just going to do some standing work, and this is all going to aid in helping us with digestion, and we're going to make some kind of small movements in some ways, but things that are going to open up our chest and lengthen this space that we think of as our digestive tract. And so we'll start first with just our feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, and we'll bring our hands to our bellies. And take a moment. Don't feel like you have to stand still here. Sometimes I would have this overwhelming feeling that I just needed to rock my baby at all times. And so just starting here, maybe closing your eyes, or maybe a soft gaze if this kind of throws your balance off. And we'll just start to find some little circles, making circles with our hips. And you can find this to be just a really simple movement, or you can make it rather big. And you can find as exaggerated as you'd like. So this is kind of a rocking the baby kinds of movements. And sometimes going forward and back is good, but circles are exceptionally good for our hips. So we'll start here with just some big movements if you'd like, or maybe some smaller movements, maybe eyes open if you're throwing your own balance off by moving. And we just find just what feels good. So I'm going to move my hands to my hips now, just because I'm starting to really get some big movements in, and that way I can kind of keep my balance of my weight shifting. And you can kind of shift in more of a side to side kind of circular pattern. You can continue this big, open, wide hips circular pattern if you'd like. And you just decide how you would like to do this. Meanwhile, just kind of following your breath and keeping in touch with how you feel in each of these movements, maybe going in an opposite direction. And just continuing. And if you find a spot that feels good, maybe kind of work on it, that space for a moment. Just continuing. And if you liked hands to your belly, that's perfect here too. It just depends on how far along you are and how you're feeling with your balance in this position as you move through. And let's do just one more round, just like this. And then we'll find some stillness and just kind of check in with how you feel here. Feet nice and strongly planted, little bend in your knees. And we'll take our hands and we'll lengthen them open wide. So we open our hearts a little bit up towards the ceiling, but we'll get more exaggerated as we go. We exhale, we bring hands closer together. We inhale, take a deep breath in. Open your heart. Exhale, hands closer in. Well, this time we'll take another deep inhale in, we'll open our hearts, and this time when we bring the hands in, we're going to take the left one over the right, and you're going to probably, some of you might have to raise your elbows a little bit so that they're stacked on top of you here, but wherever you can be, anywhere here is perfect. And keep that nice bend into your knees. We'll start first by taking the elbows over towards our left side, but keep your gaze and the rest of your body facing forward. So it's just a really subtle upper body twist. We'll slowly make our way back forward. And same thing over towards the right side. Keep your gaze on me. So we keep our gaze forward, and you can keep this a little bit more subtle than I'm doing always. And then we'll commence to that breath work again. So we inhale, we bring our arms nice and open. Exhale, we bring our hands closer in. Continue this. So we inhale, we lengthen open. Exhale, our hands closer in. So this doesn't have to be a whole back bend. You can still just get this openness without feeling you're compromising your low back. This time, our left hand comes over top and we stack our shoulders or our elbows over the top of our chest here. And again, any way you'd like here as far as where your elbows are. If they're a little bit higher up, that's okay here, as long as it feels comfortable for you. And again, little bend in your knees. We'll take the elbows over towards our left side. And we'll slowly bring our elbows back towards the middle and then over towards our right side, keeping our gaze forward. And then slowly make our way back all the way forward. Let's do the breath work again. We inhale, we open. Exhale, we bring the hands closer in. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we bring our hands closer in. And this time when we inhale, open, exhale, we're going to bring ourselves in so we kind of draw our chin down towards our chest. Then we inhale, we open. Exhale, we bring our chin closer towards our chest. One more time, just like this. We inhale, we open. Open your heart. You can lengthen your arms as much as you want. Exhale, last time. And then we make our way, bringing our arms down to our sides. And then step your feet. If you have a wall available for you, I highly recommend you do this one against a wall. It just kind of saves us all the need of trying to stay up nice and tall. And I have my heels about 4 inches away from the back of the wall here. And I'm just going to bring myself so that I'm completely relying on my buttocks and the backs of my shoulders to touch the wall. Little bends and knees here are perfect. And then from here, extending fingertips up overhead, we'll slowly shift over towards our right side. We'll inhale, we'll make our way back up nice and tall. Exhale, left side when you're ready, lengthen long. Inhale, we make our way back up. Let's bring the arms back down. We'll take our feet a little wider. So you don't need to go as wide as you possibly can, but taking your feet a little wider is helpful here. And the same thing, we'll extend our arms up overhead. We'll start to reach over towards our right side. So you might be able to get a little bit more length this way with the knees a little bit more bent, feet further apart. Make your way up tall. When you're ready, left side, lengthen long. If you have a nice window border for lengthening over towards for support, that's helpful. We slowly make our way up nice and tall. We bring our arms all the way down. We'll heel toe our feet in. And then we'll make our way back to our mat if you stepped off of your mat with me. And then we'll take our feet up towards the top part of our mat and find our feet at about hip width apart. And we find with our feet about hip width apart that we keep this nice, strong sturdiness here in our standing position. So I'm taking a moment, little bends in knees, checking in with your breath, and checking in with baby. Then let's bring our hands to our hips. We'll take our right foot, take a pretty big step back, not quite your longest step you can make. Front knee and ankle go nice and stacked. That back foot, little 45-degree angle. So we're nice and strong and sturdy here, and we feel like we can kind of hang out for a while. If you need to lengthen this space a little bit more, that's perfect. Just make sure that from this point, and you don't have to do what I'm doing, just kind of watching, from point A here, hips facing forward, to point B here, we have ourselves with our hips still facing forward in our pose. You can lengthen your arms if you'd like. And we keep this length, so we're going to keep our shoulders plugged in, strong into our feet. And maybe a couple of nice, easy breaths here. And maybe if you'd like to look up at your hands, maybe bring your fingertips together, opening your heart a little bit more up towards the ceiling. We'll slowly make our way back here. So from here, we start to make our way. Right hand comes down to your right hip. Left fingertips start to shift over towards your right side, but we're really getting most of that length in the side of our body. So we lengthen long. And still grounded into our feet, nice and active here. We'll slowly start to make our way back down. That left hand comes down to your hip. We'll extend right hand up this time. Shoulder nice and plugged in. reach over towards your left side this time. So same thing, we're creating this space in the side of our body, creating this length. So it's less about these right fingertips reaching over, more about this space all the way from your right hip to your right bottom set of ribs. We'll slowly make our way back down, right hand, right hip. Right foot will step forward when you're ready. And once here, just kind of checking in, hands come to the tops of your thighs. We'll just bend into our knees just a little for a little chair pose. So nice and strong and active into your feet, strong into your tops of your thighs. Even your buttocks is strong here. You can even bring arms in T position if you choose. We'll slowly return our hands to the tops of our thighs. We make our way up nice and tall, and then hands come back to your hips. So we'll still keep these two hip points facing forward. Left foot, when you're ready, steps back, 45-degree angle again. So again, those two hip points facing forward, shoulders down, extend arms up overhead when you're ready. If you feel good here and you feel good with your balance today, you can bring your fingertips together, opening your heart open towards the ceiling. And we notice how we're lengthening once again this space here. So from our navel all the way up to like the midpoint of our neck here, opening into our heart. So it's kind of less of a back bend, so there's not a big bend here. It's really more of a lengthening here in the front of our body. We'll slowly start to bring our hands back down. Check in with your stance just to make sure you feel strong and sturdy. Then we'll start with that opposite lateral movements where we bring right hand to right hip, left fingertips reach up. So we reach those left fingertips over towards our right side. And creating this space here. This is where we're making space for baby, for digestion. And we'll slowly start to make our way back down. Left hand, left hip, right fingertips up. So remember, shoulders plugged in. So we're nice and strong. Start to find this length here, right side of your body. And slowly we start to make our way back up. Right hand, right thigh, or right hip, then left foot steps forward back to where we started. And just taking a moment here, I'm going to turn to face you, and maybe you as well would like to face me so that we can come back to the middle part of our mat for a moment. And we're going to take our feet wide, but kind of in that in between. So we want our feet just about hip width apart, maybe a little wider, and we'll come down into a little camper's pose. So we slowly start to bend into our knees, sinking our buttocks down. And maybe you feel good enough that you could come all the way down to elbows, to the tops of your thighs. So strong into our feet, active into our legs. Buttocks is strong here too. Let's come back up. And coming nice and tall once more. And when you're ready, we'll repeat that again. So we may hang out a little bit longer. We bend into our knees. We lower our buttocks down. Hands come together, elbows, tops of your thighs. And sometimes having a little bit of movement here with hands kind of helps us to get through our pose a little bit more. We'll slowly make our way back up nice and slow. Then we'll take our feet a little bit wider, much wider actually for us, and we'll start to find right toes. When you're ready, you're going to shift out. Left toes, when you're ready, shift in. So right toes are going to be pointed all the way out. Left toes, a little 45-degree angle. Front knee, right knee bends. So you may need to kind of walk this stance a little further forward. If you feel that your right knee is coming further forward than your ankle, we want it to be nice and stacked. So knee over ankle here. And strong into your feet. So take a moment, get this pose so that you feel nice and strong and sturdy. And when you feel you have a good position here, bringing your arms into a T position. So the center of wrist, center of shoulder, best you can. We'll slowly start to bend our right arm at the elbow, bring it down to the top of the thigh, extend your top arm up. So finding length here, side of your body once more. So this space from your bottom set of ribs to hips, lengthening long. This right hand can relax, get a little extra strength into your right foot. That's going to help us be a little sturdier here. Get real strong into your feet and legs, strong into your belly. Make your way back up into your warrior two. We'll relax our arms down, take right toes in, so that 45-degree angle for your right foot, left toes shift out. So your feet should be in a good position this time. And we find if you need to make adjustments always. And then we get strong into our feet and into our legs. We kind of notice this might feel like a little bit of a hip opener here for you. And when you have that good position, start to reach your arms into this T position. Maybe gazing at the middle finger of your front hand, your left hand. Then we'll slowly start to bend our arm at the elbow, kind of reaching the body long as you start to make your way, bringing forearm down to the top of your thigh and extending your top arm up. You can always continue to shift this arm more at an angle so that the angle from your fingertips down to your heel is a good angle here all the way. But up here is perfect too. Either way, strong into your feet, belly strong, and we'll slowly start to make our way back up to our warrior two once more. Let your arms relax down, turn your left toes in. You can heel toe your feet back in here, and we'll find our way back to just our feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. And we'll just take our hips and make some of those circular motions once more, kind of working out the hips before we go to our seated positions, our seated poses. Maybe going in that opposite direction if you'd like. And we'll bring our arms once more nice and open. We won't do as much of the breath work this time, but when we bring our arms in, we'll cross them over just like we did before so that they bring our hands to the tops of our shoulders. Again, if yours are up a little bit higher, that's okay here. Bend into your knees. Elbows go over towards your left side. So just a simple twist. Gaze at me here, facing forward. We turn so that we're facing back forward, and then the opposite side. So elbows to your right, gaze still forward. Subtle twist. We slowly make our way back forward. Let's extend our arms once more. And then this time we'll bring the right arm over top, left arm on the bottom. Same thing, so elbows over towards your left. Maybe this time, if you feel good, slightly take your head and neck over towards the right. Doesn't need to be a big movement to be a big stretch though. Then we slowly bring our elbows forward, then our head and neck, and then elbows to your right side. Gaze still forward for now, and then maybe looking over towards your left side. Slowly we bring our elbows forward, and the head and neck last, bring your arms down to your sides. We'll find our way down to a seated position. So make your way, and here you might need some blocks and a blanket, and we'll just find our way to taking our blanket here for some support underneath of our sits bones, and then we'll bring our sits bones down to our blanket so that we sit down with our soles of our feet together. You can take your blocks if you'd like and bring your blocks underneath of your legs here if this feels comfortable for you. And you don't have to have them here. Sometimes it's just kind of nice to have a little bit of extra sturdiness, extra support. And then we'll bring our hands behind us. So my palms are facing towards me, and we'll just kind of press our feet together, draw our thighs, our knees, our whole legs down, and just open our heart a little bit here. So really opening up the space between your hips and your bottom set of ribs all the way to your heart, into your throat. So it's going to take a little bit of work to get us to come back forward, and we're going to do it really slow and gradual. So continue to be strong into your feet and legs. We'll slowly start to inch our hands closer in. We'll slowly make our way forward. Head and neck comes down last. And here we just find just some simple movements right to left. And you can kind of bring your chin in towards your chest. We're going to start over. Go on, Amner. Just go on. You're making me mad. So continuing to be strong here into your feet and legs. Just making this space here in the front of your body nice and open without trying to take your head and neck back. So you can open into the throat without really even taking the head back at all. You can keep the head and neck aligned with your spine. Then we'll slowly start to inch our hands closer in. So you may be tenting your fingers to do so, and eventually start to make your way a little bit forward. Head and neck can now come down. And maybe just some simple right to left movements, maybe drawing your chin in towards your chest. Maybe leading with the shoulders, kind of shifting right ear towards right shoulder and bringing left shoulder over with you. Same thing, left side, right shoulder forward, left ear, left shoulder, right shoulder forward. Just kind of finding these kind of movements that feel good. And then open back up, be nice and tall. And we'll start to make our way to just a little hands and knees. We'll do a little cat-cow variation that's a little bit more of an upright position. So we'll take our blocks just to the side for now, and then we'll make our way to our hands and knees position. So from here, just take your blanket so that you have some nice support underneath of your knees. And we'll bring our hands and knees into our table. And from your table, with knees right underneath of your hips, wrists and shoulders stacked, we'll start to find length in the front of your body, opening your heart forward. And then on your exhale, we'll start to bring our hips down towards our heels, your chin in towards your chest. We'll inhale, we'll shift forward, lengthen long. Exhale, hips down towards heels, chin in towards chest. And just continue this forward and back movement. Nice and slow with your breath. Exhale as we take ourselves back. Chin maybe in towards chest if you'd like. Inhale, we shift back forward. Heart shines forward. Exhale, we lower down. Inhale, we shift back forward. Exhale, we lower. One more time. We inhale, we shift back forward. Exhale, we lower down. From here, we'll take our knees a little bit wide, bring your forehead down to your mat. Big toes may come all the way closest touching. And then forehead rests down. Arms can be kind of relaxed. Elbows can be slightly bent here. And our forehead just rests down. And there are some other options here. If you would rather a puppy pose, where we bring our knees in closer and bring our forehead down, this one might be too much of an angle downward if we're kind of trying to assist with our digestion. But if you need, you could also take, if your forehead is kind of having a hard time coming down, bringing a block underneath of your forehead here. And just kind of, I like to use kind of the back, the little edge here, so that the very top part of my forehead rests. And just creates this space. And just a few more breaths here, just kind of getting relaxed and heavy. And slowly we'll start to make our way back up. We'll return back to a seated position. So you can just block to the side, find your blanket, and we'll just come to just a regular seat. And just kind of notice just how we feel here, how we feel in our bodies as we sit up nice and tall once more. Just checking in with how our breath feels. Maybe closing your eyes. Maybe hands coming to your belly. And feeling this connection that you have with your breath and your body and your baby. And taking a moment before we go back to our busy life, or maybe to go to bed, whatever your next thing is today to do, just to take a moment to be grateful for ourselves, for this baby, and for the love we have in our lives. But don't forget to thank yourself for taking this time out for you and having this connection with your body and with your baby. Sometimes getting this mat rolled out is the hardest part of our day. I've said better, sometimes it's the hardest thing to get time to do. So taking this moment just to be grateful. I thank you very much for joining me today. And bringing our hands to our bellies. Noticing how our breath feels here in this connection with our baby. And taking a moment before we go back to our busy life to be grateful for this moment, for this breath, with this connection, and this time that we have with our baby. and that we're taking time to enjoy it. Taking this time for yoga practice to nourish our body and nurture our body as well, which in turn nourishes and nurtures our baby. So thank yourself for taking this time out of your day. Thank your body for the work that it does, but thank yourself. You are going to be a wonderful mother to this baby because you already are. So thank you very much for joining me today. I always enjoy it. Thank you. And just a little option for you for final relaxation. I have an additional video available for you if you would like to add a 10-minute full relaxation to this pose or to this practice. And to see, and I'll just kind of briefly show you. So since we're working on digestion, we can take this bolster here, and sometimes you can use pillows or cushions if they're kind of sturdy. This is a very sturdy cushion. And we just recline it. So you can find other ways to recline yourself. It's really important as you rest down to just make sure that your chin is lower than your forehead. And then we take a moment and we just kind of find this pose. We rest down for our final relaxation. And I have a whole video that kind of goes through, relaxation techniques that I used, and just kind of getting ourselves to lengthen this space and to also be able to relax fully for our final relaxation. And I'm going to kind of roll to the side to come back up. So if you'd like to check out that video, it's the final relaxation in a reclined position. And thank you very much for joining me again, but just wanted to add that little brief note if you need a little bit more of a final relaxation than just our seated position that we did. And I, of course, thank you again for joining me, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and leave any comments you'd like to for me. Thank you.